All women are delicate, take, time.
Yeah, well, the ones hanging around you have got to be delicate, Roger.
Roses are red, violets are blue. What's next?
Stalingrad, a terrible place.
Margaret, happy St. Valentine's Day. I know we missed the roses, but there we go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Will. That's very kind.
Carl, you wouldn't get a rose, and you'd get the thorns. Or a Scottish thistle might be more appropriate.
Thistle, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Can
a
you
leaf.
imagine going through the heather, through all those thistles in the kilt? Braveheart must have been on the ball.
You're a bit sideways.
Yeah, you're sideways.
Hang on a minute.
Echoing.
I'm just too much happening. Too much happening. Right, now what about that?
Still
Oh,
sideways.
Yeah, all right, I know I'm sideways.
Oh, that's all right then. Is it cold where you are? We've got a frost already.
Bloody freezing.
Yeah.
it's been a lovely day, though, hasn't it?
Yes, it was nice.
More wet than anything else.
Right, can you all hear me now?
We can. Yeah.
No echo. Good.
I don't know what's happened with me. Where am I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Why am I side on?
Well,
You're
you're
not.
not now. No, you're okay now.
Turn your camera now, dear.
Who asked you? Right, so I right. There are a few changes as of next week. I will tell you that we won't be we'll only be doing YouTube live for about 10 minutes, and then it'll just be recorded on YouTube. But we'll tell you about a little bit more about that in a short while. But let's see if there's. Oh, by the way, if I make Andy thingamajig, right?
He's gone.
No, he's there. He's still
he's
there.
again.
I'm going to make Andy thingamajig now.
Yep, no problem.
The host with the most.
No, he's a co-host. He is. He's a co-host.
Right. Kind of ring quite like
okay, right. Okay, so matchstick men, matchstick cats and dogs. What's the next? Right. It's 7:17, a little bit later to starting tonight. There's Gina away. She's got one of her I think it's one of her grandchildren staying. I don't know where Anne is. David's elusive as ever. He's probably David. Somewhere. Really good to say goodbye to David last week. It's a privilege. Do you know what I'm going to do if I'm passing through to go to Scotland? I'm going to knock David's door and say goodbye and just wander down the street.
That's rude.
So how is that rude?
Not talking properly and being polite to somebody who supports you and keeps you going. Very rude.
A minute. Hang on a minute. At least I made the effort to go and see him. You haven't.
That's not my job.
Hang on a minute. No, I told him.
You're the leader.
Oh, look, oh, shut up, you silly man.
Go ahead and do your job.
So if you do that, Carl, you'll have to take a cup of tea and a packet of his favourite biscuits.
Yeah,
you're supposed to be saying goodbye to. Oh, forget it.
A cup of tea and a packet of favourite biscuits.
Forget it. I'm gonna. All right, then. I will drop in on David and have a cup of tea. All right. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Take a packet of his favourite biscuits.
All right, then. Stop messing around? Let's have a collection whilst we're here, right?
What?
Oh, shut up. I've had enough of you already. Right. Well.
Okay, Putin.
The only reason why Will does these classes is because. Oh, have you heard the latest about Putin and the Epstein files? Oh my God, amazing! Right. Oh no! Apparently, Putin's coming out as a good guy.
Is he? That makes a change.
Yeah. Apparently, there was some kind of conversation, and apparently Putin was rescuing the children of Ukraine from the horrible gangs that were stealing them. Yeah.
I'm reading a biography
So in other
on him at the
words-
moment.
Yeah.
It's not good.
About Vlad.
No,
Putin,
Epstein.
Anyway.
Oh,
No,
about
I'm-
Epstein
No, I'm reading a book on Putin.
on Vladimir.
Oh my God, I'm confused. I really am. Right, yeah, right. Okay, let's get some sense of nobody tonight. Judith.
I don't know anything about any news about archaeology, but I've come to the conclusion there are no good guys. We are all alone and we have to look after ourselves because nobody's coming to save us. It's the conclusion I've
Right.
drawn.
Oh my God, I'm just so depressed now. I wish I even started tonight. God. But I've got a film entered in. I've got one of my productions is actually entered into 4 film festivals, and we've got a good chance in at least one. So there we go.
Oh, is that for your Walking Dead?
Yes,
Oh, brilliant! Oh,
Yeah.
well done.
yes. It's not. Put it this way, it's not going to be shown anywhere until it's gone through the doodads. But I've been told I've got to do a trailer, right?
Ah,
So yeah, so I've got to do a very short trailer apparently. So we'll see how that goes.
oh,
So
well done.
yes,
Will you have to do an acceptance speech if you win?
yeah, I've got to go to
Will
bloody
you
Brazil.
mention all your
Look, I'm honest. 5
friends and
minutes.
all your students?
Look, I'll mention one of you, okay, Roger? Right, that's
Oh.
it.
Blooming
Oh, yeah.
favoritism.
All right, then I'll mention you, Andy. I'm not mentioning Will because he hasn't been with me long enough.
Oh, that's rude as well. You know.
All right, then I'll mention all of you. Thanks.
Okay.
And I'll mention the bloody Pope as
That'll
well.
really confuse him if you mention all of us.
Yeah.
It'll just be like, oh, and thank you to Roger, Margaret, Anne, Drina, Andy, Judith, Will, and David, the quiet guy in the corner, right? And everybody else. Oh, that's it. And they'll be looking these up on their phone. They'll be going, hang on a minute, who are all these people?
Yeah.
And your
Yeah.
mum and dad?
Oh, shut up. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, and Anne. Yeah, I mentioned Anne, didn't I? Oh, my.
No.
Oh, look, I'm
Very deliberate in
I'm
the
not.
Reverend
Hey,
Je- the
you
Reverend Jesse.
interrupted me.
the Reverend Jesse Jackson died today.
He did.
Oh,
I
dear.
know.
Good.
Yeah,
great
Yes,
man.
I did hear
Yeah.
that on the news. Yeah.
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 Look, why do we talk about transatlantic slavery while we're at it, and you'll just chuck it all in there?
What?
Look, shut up.
I don't think the
Right.
Romans did that, did they?
What
Oh.
are the changes? What are the changes you're making?
And Genghis Khan. Look.
Mm.
All right. Look, we're gonna look. I'll just.
Well, Andy and I have got some very interesting local archaeology
Oh,
news.
for God's sake,
haven't we,
right,
Andy?
Margaret, I can't get a
Have we?
word in edgeways. Just forget it. Just
Yeah.
talk and tell us.
We've got really interesting
All
archaeological
right, go.
news.
Look, tell us.
Well, I'll let Andy tell it.
No, I don't
Oh,
know.
for-
Of course you do.
This is like a bloody.
About the-
This is like.
It's
The
great.
Bone Cave.
Why
near-
do we?
Oh,
Why
that
we just
one.
bring up
Near
Muppets in here at the same
Alveston.
time? Oh God.
Yeah. No, I can't remember the dates on it, but I did read about it. Yeah, it's not as old as Claire's though, but
Oh,
No, but they've
look,
done DNA on the female that was found in there, and she's 11,000 years old.
yeah.
Oh,
It's the oldest Mesolithic burial. Was it in the whole of Britain or just the
No,
north?
north of Britain. But I think Claire's is at least 11. If I think it's actually older, but
No,
I
it
think they've got
said in the article that this is older than the one in Kent's
ever.
Cavern or whatever it's called.
Hence Bank.
That's only 10,000 years old.
Claire
This
will
is
argue against that.
11.
yeah, I'm sure Claire said hers was older than that. But, yeah.
Mm.
But it's good because that pushes the ice age back here quite considerably.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of effort to push an ice age. I've got to be honest with you.
It is, yeah. Not to
It's
be
just- it's
underestimated, these Neolithic
What?
people, Mesolithic people, whatever. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we're going to push an ice age. It's just like,
Mm.
yeah. Right, is that it, Margaret?
Yeah, I thought that was quite exciting.
It was. It is.
No, it is exciting.
Yeah.
It is.
My friend's gone over to Ulverston tonight to celebrate.
Mm. Oh,
What?
there was also a really good that program that Alice Roberts doing on a Saturday night on Channel 4 about the
Can't mention
train
her on a
ride
Wednesday.
through the Roman Empire. Did you see
Yeah.
it?
No, I
Yes,
didn't.
yeah.
The
Oh,
Romans had trains.
Yeah.
Especially
well,
about
this week she was
Herculaneum
in
as well.
this week she was in Herculaneum,
Oh, right, on
Excellent.
Wednesday.
which was a very posh seaside resort just for the elite.
Mm.
Mm.
And it seems most of them, I forget what the population was, it was quite a few thousand, and most of them fled. And the ones that they found in those kind of dungeons were slaves. They still had manacles on.
Manacles?
Mm.
What, we're talking about the population of Pompeii between 20 and 30,000
Oh,
apparently.
Herculaneum,
Herculaneum.
Oh, right, yeah. No more than 15.
1,000.
Well, it's not 15 people, is it?
Oh, and she went to
Anymore.
the room where they found the ancient scrolls.
Oh, yeah.
And they got AI or something now to read them without unwrapping them.
Yes.
They cannot
Yes.
before this.
They've got the technology now that can
It reads
decipher
through
them.
without
Yeah.
unwrapping them. Yeah.
Roger, can you shut up? Thanks.
Well, we talked about this before, remember?
Yeah, I know.
I'm just reminding you.
Yeah, that's right. Very clever.
Are we talking about Julius Caesar's father-in-law's library at Pompeii or the one at Herculaneum?
Herculaneum.
See, you said it right, Herculaneum. I was just testing you out there. Well done. Well done. Right. Okay. Now the little announcement, right? We've got the Illicit pillar coming out to you in the post soon because it's been printed, right? Said I haven't been to collect it yet, but it will be collected, right? So the one point from last week is that tonight is going to be a bit disjuncted because we're looking at Caligula and we're looking a little bit more of Caligula next week, right? However, right, we are going to stick to what we discussed last week. We're going to really just stick to the archaeology, and I'm getting more and more excited with this because it will be nice to sort of not mention all the Paul Laurtiuses and the Vespasians and the so on. So, and the one reason why that's really useful for me, because if you look at written history of Roman Britain, it seems to be from about whenever to about AD 100, and then there's very little, right? And it's very difficult to sort of discuss that. It's almost as if we're setting up history alongside archaeology, and then suddenly things get less and less written about. So it's ideal for me when we're just looking at the archaeology. However, when we do look at the Vindolanda tablets, that's written archaeology, so we will be looking at that undoubtedly. And we've got a piece of we've got something really interesting that we're going to be looking at tonight. So going forward, it's going to be very much looking at the archaeology, and I can do so much more with that without the inhibitions of history. So one thing that I've been sort of discussing with myself is that when we get to the Boudicca story, we don't need to do Cartimandua now because we've already done that. We don't need to go to Caractacus. We've already done that, which is great because lots of that was historical anyway. But when we get to Boudicca, it'll be really nice to see the archaeological trail of Boudicca, without mentioning the Battle of Watling Street, which we've got no archaeological evidence for anyway. So and then suddenly the Boudiccan rebellion stops, and you can make up your own mind what happened with that. So that's going to be really, really interesting. And then the other point is that when you get the Illicit pillar, there's different things in there that I want people to look at and consider. And also we're going to be with, and this Judith needs to be aware of this, and maybe Will, that, and maybe Andy, that if you're going to be late or your technology's down and you've only got access to YouTube, you need to let me know, because what's going to happen is that we're going to be going out live on YouTube, but then after about 10, 15 minutes, it's going to be cut to unlisted, right? And there's a reason for that, which is more along the lines of trying to encourage more people to actually take part in the Zoom discussions that we actually have. And it also means that on another level, that obviously film wise for me, it means that I'm not as available online as I was, because I've got to try and I've got to try and be more elusive, apparently. So that's what's happening. So anyway, Roger.
No, nothing for me. You mentioned Alice, but there's also an interesting thing about Richard III and the Henry VII with that Worsley.
Oh yeah, go for it. Please tell us.
And it went over some things when they found his grave, the third, and certain. She was saying fibs in history, things that are often quoted but are not true, like Richard III having a humpback. He had
Yes.
Scoliosis, just to the
Yes.
spine rather than all that. But the reason was, it's a bit like the Romans, they wrote what they wanted. So people at that time were bolstering Henry VII and putting down Richard III to make him, Richard VII, look glorious and wonderful.
Richard III, yeah, Richard III, yeah.
Sorry, Henry VII. But then they said with Henry VII, he was Tudor Welsh, but his lineage wasn't royal. Apparently, he came from the servants who worked for royalty, but he wasn't royal himself. So that was a dodge. So it was interesting because I was never sure of all that, what actually happened, who was doing what. And it was interesting with the two houses fighting each other, because at that time with the Tudors, it was a new age, because the Tudors introduced so much with the Navy and government and stuff. It was a big change in attack, besides knocking down monasteries. So it was a huge change in approach government. Very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, what about you, Will?
I'll just mention that I have two videos prepared. I'm just doing some extracts for some text information to go on YouTube. 1799, Great Britain, the history from the first invasion of it by the Roman under Julius Caesar, written on a new plan by Robert Henry, a Doctor of Divinity. There are 12 volumes, and basically written in around about 1799 with multiple editions thereafter. So I've done one video on the section that deals with from Caesar up to 490 AD, and I will be putting that on YouTube. But the point of Caligula, there is a short blurb on Caligula, which deals with the fact that no, he didn't actually invade Britain, which is contrary to where you're going to go. But and there was a reference to 200,000 soldiers gathered at the Pas de Calais. And if you think 5,000 people, 5,000 men in the Roman legion, and Rome had about 40 legions at best at the peak of its throughout.
I would disagree with that. It was about 25, but but carry on.
Well, 25 was stated, but then you had auxiliaries, and so 200,000, which doesn't make sense. Actually, in the blurb you sent around last week, you referred to 100,000 people, and I think it was probably 10,000 in one of your comments about one of the part of the history that you're talking about. You referred to 100,000 people. I think you might have been thinking about 10,000 people. Anyway, this is a very good story. I've done it in a rolling text scroll of the book itself, and I'm just going to put I'm extracting some detail, which I'm going to put in the preface, which goes into YouTube, into the description of the video. So hopefully I'll have those up by next week, and I'll send you.
YouTube is under your name, is it, Will?
Well, it's under Rumney Virtual Tours, International and Global.
Roger, I send you emails every week with Will stuff, and Yeah, I send it via email every week.
Sent you links.
What, this new stuff? No.
Yeah,
No, I haven't.
you
It's
have
not
an
there yet.
email. Yeah, you have an email off me every single week about these classes and some of the stuff that Will sends
That's
every
right,
single
but
week.
I seem to think Will's stuff will go deeper into what we cover in the class, which is a wide range because of the timing.
Well, it gives you some reading material, Roger, and certainly
Yeah.
this series of books certainly do that. And again, this particular video is not quite ready yet. I hope to get it up there by next week. I was hoping to get it there before today, but it's taking a bit longer to extract my data.
And it's
But I
under,
will have it probably by next week, and I'll send a
yeah,
link
but
to
how do I
Carl,
find
and
it?
I'll pass it on.
Yeah.
Roger, I send it to you. I send it to you via email every week.
What
You
says
just
what?
look at the email and you click. Right. Okay. Will sends me this stuff, right? And I forward it to your email every single week.
I get the email, but this is just a video on what we've done each Tuesday, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, no, but I also send you the emails that Will sends me. I spend about 5-10 minutes putting everybody's addresses in every single week. Will sends me about an email every week, at least an email every week about stuff to do with the classes, and I send it to everybody.
Yeah. So this one that's being done, this video, we'll have to wait a bit for that then.
Next week. By next week, hopefully.
Right.
Next week, yeah,
Well,
next week,
I'm
next
done.
week,
Thank you
That's
very
what
much.
after, yeah.
next week. Okay, right. Andy.
No, nothing to say. Thanks.
Okay, and Judith, babes. Judy.
I know, sorry, you'd already asked me. I haven't looked
No,
or
we're
seen or heard
asking you
anything.
again
Sorry.
because we want to hear your voice.
Oh, no, nothing from me. Sorry.
Right, let's get into it. Right, so we've got a very interesting little bit of evidence from Colchester today, and we've got Caligula's lighthouse, and we've got something to do with what Will mentioned, and a few other bits and pieces. So we're and then the coin stuff next week, and that'll be Caligula done. Right, so let's just share, and it might not seem it, but I'm really down with the flu this minute, so I'm rather drugged up. So it might not seem it, but I am. Right. So I usually drugged up anyway, so that and yeah. All right. Oh, you don't want to see that there? No, all there. And this is actually right. This is actually the I've made called Wire, and that's all you're seeing. So Rome and Britain, and there we are, and that's where we are. That's where we'll put quite. And I've cat in my lap, and the cat is a bit lonely. Look at this today. Actually, this is an example of something that we're looking at in detail, right? And this is a really interesting piece of archaeological evidence from. This is one version. This is one of those items, but this is not the one in particular. This is really, really interesting, right? Because
Oh dear.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. Carl's
Carly, where are you?
it was reverberating a bit there and a bit
Yeah.
static.
And the sound went a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe a slight issue there.
Says I'm host now.
You are.
Yeah.
Don't
I
let
don't
the
know what
power
to
go
say
to your
about
head,
that.
Andy.
Yeah. I don't know much about Caligula. Back from Little Boots.
Little Boots.
Did he come to Britain or not? Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
No, I don't think he did. There's no proof, is there? That we know of.
No, proof is a thing.
I'm sure Carl is going to tell us differently.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
Carl's
we'll
coming
see.
back now.
the guy
Carl, your
What's
sound
that?
was breaking up
What's
and
wrong?
then you
Yeah,
dropped
sounds
out.
breaking up. Oh well.
How is it sounding now?
It's all right now.
Okay. Maybe I'll just slow down. So Caligula preferred to be called Caius. Now, Caligula was born, we've mentioned this before, on the 31st of August, AD 12. His father was murdered in AD 19. Now, his father is believed to have been murdered by the then Emperor Tiberius, who came to be an emperor after Augustus, the first emperor, in AD 14. Germanicus was a direct threat to Tiberius. Germanicus was a military genius, like Julius Caesar. And the man there was somebody who would have made his mark in history, right? And his son never forgot his dad's assassination. And it really shaped Caligula.
Oh, you're not sharing any screen at the moment, so we're not seeing any images. I don't see any.
No, nothing.
For God's sake, I've been looking at an image for ages. And right,
Yeah.
okay.
What?
We
So
lost it when you left. We lost
Well,
it
you
when you
disappeared
left.
altogether.
hang on a minute, I haven't gone.
You did.
Yeah, it's no.
Oh, for God's sake. Right, okay, let's start again. Right, okay. Okay, right, here we go. Okay, so I hope it's not going to be one of those stupid evenings. Right, okay. It was all fine a few minutes ago. Right, hang on a minute. Let's just do something a minute. Right, okay. Let's just cut my image. Right. That's one thing sorted. Right. Okay. Screen. Start. Okay. I was in the process of talking about
Carl, as soon as you start doing
Goes
things,
there
your
it is.
bandwidth is
Okay.
getting used up and you're all breaking
In
up.
the process.
It goes foot.
Carl, sounds gone
Well,
again.
well.
Nice picture.
Yeah, very blue.
Mm.
Lovely.
So,
What?
Who are we looking at there? Is
right,
it Germanicus or
gone.
is
All
it
right. Oh, great. Yeah, but
Well,
hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. There is a way to do this, right?
Back again.
Right, guys. I'm gonna add me on another device, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add me in. Hang on 1 second. Add me in. Right. What we're gonna do? We're gonna add my voice in on another device. Right. So here we go. Let's just do this. Right. Let's just add my voice in. Right. Okay. Zoom. Let's go into Zoom. Not that one. Zoom.
it's overlanding the back.
It might slightly echo, but you'll hear me. Oh, then again, it's not going to. Okay. 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 Echoes. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
we think so?
Right. If I say the words
Oh,
Rolex,
oh.
that's good. Slight echo. Slight echo. Slight echo. Slight echo. Slight echo. What about that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Good picture. Good sound.
Is it? Good. Am I repeating myself at all?
Nope.
Oh.
There's no repeat.
No,
No
No.
echo.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Right.
she only appeared once on there.
So let's talk about the image. So this is see is Germanicus's family, right? So we've got shown on
Nicholas
here
Father.
an image of Germanicus, Germanicus Caesar. Now, Germanicus Caesar was assassinated in the year AD 19. Now, his son, one of three sons, Caligula Caius, would have been only 7 years old when his dad was assassinated. Germanicus would have been a Roman emperor. He probably would have been the best Roman emperor that they'd ever seen, right? Germanicus was a military genius. He was respected by his troops. There would have been no Nero. There would have been no Emperor Caligula, his own son, right? And Caligula's love for his father obviously meant that it's likely he would never have been assassinated, right? Because by the time Caligula becomes Roman emperor in AD 37, his brother Nero is dead. His brother Drusus is dead. Caligula's mother died in AD 33. And in the reign of Caligula, Drusilla had died in AD 38. The only one that survived was Agrippina Jr., right? That comes into another story. And his other sister, Julia Livilla, died in the same year of the assassination of Caligula. So in other words, when Caligula became emperor, as part of his family, he was basically one of the only ones left. Now, this is really important because this object was actually excavated in Britain. Now, remember, if this is worn by one of, in the reign of Caligula's own soldiers, right? This evidence being found in Colchester is very important for me, looking at the links to do with Caligula and a possible invasion of Britain actually succeeding or taking place. And obviously, the final bit next week. And whilst we're at this stage, is it all sounding good, folks?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah?
It's okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to get onto my notes for this object. And this is, I'll probably mention to a couple of nice piece of evidence of Caligula. This object itself is Phalera. This Roman Phalera, genuine archaeologians that directly with Caligula, undoubtedly on both is got an image of Caligula. It's got an image of his dad Germanicus, and by the reign,
Carl, sounds
nobody
breaking
in
up
their
again.
right mind.
Breaking up.
It's breaking up again.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
it's kind of getting every other sort of 2 or 3 words or whatever. It's not making any sense.
I don't know what to
not
do.
getting enough.
This doesn't happen on a Wednesday.
Well,
Right, I don't know what to do.
We'll all have to move.
Right, okay. Let's try something else. If I cut up everybody's images on this, then hopefully that'll give me bandwidth, and I'll come back in on this device.
Yeah, if you've got loads
Right,
of windows
okay.
open, you need to shut them down.
Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to cut everybody's images now. I'm just going to go back off this. And I'm going to come back in on one device.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that. Okay. I'm gonna cut everybody's image. All right. Right. Okay. Will, stop video. Roger, stop video. Margaret, stop video. Andy, stop video. Right. Hopefully we're going to get bandwidth. So let's just see if this works again. Okay. I know we got less people on a Wednesday, but we just never have. We've only had this problem once. So right. Okay. So are we back to this?
Yeah.
That's some sort of
maybe what might be wise is Margaret to sort of interrupt every now and again to say things are fine. So this object is known as the Colchester Falera, right? It's to give you an idea of the scale, it's not massive, right? But this object itself portrays the forbidden future Roman emperor, right? It also portrays Germanicus, right? Who would have become emperor, right? If it wasn't for his assassination due to the actions of Tiberius, the then Roman emperor in AD 19. Now, this is as you can see, it's made of glass, and we talk a little bit about glass tonight. So this object is actually from the British Museum collection. It's a glass Falera, right? On a backing, right? And it's molded blue glass. And this is a portrait medallion. This would have been worn in pride of place. Now, the fine spot is actually Colchester. It's on display in the British Museum. And the diameter of this is just under 6 centimeters across. Now, it's interpreted as Germanicus, shown with 3 infant children around him, one of whom is the future Emperor Caligula, with his 2 brothers, Nero and Drusus. This is not the Nero that eventually plays a fiddle and sets fire to Rome, right? Because he was well dead. He died in AD 30. And his other brother, Drusus, died in AD 33. Now, it's generally interpreted that that actively Tiberius wiped Caligula's family out, right? But he was the natural heir to Tiberius. Now, Tiberius, obviously talking history at this minute. So Tiberius and is linked to Tiberius. So basically, Tiberius, Caligula was Tiberius's great nephew, right? But Caligula was great grandson of Augustus. So in other words, this guy who had eventually become Emperor Caligula and his father Germanicus were of imperial blood. So this object, the reason why I got so excited about this object is that in what I've already said, looking at the face of a whole family that would be assassinated, right? This is the damnatio. This is the wiping out of history by Rome. Now, for what this basically means, and we'll look at a few other Faleras as well. Now, this is another Falera. This is another glass medallion, explicitly described as Germanicus, Caesar, with 3 of his children, and dated sometime up to 1 year before the assassination of Caligula. Now we've got another another example. This is believed probably to be Germanicus as well. You never know; it could be Caligula. But all these 3 objects that we're seeing are actually on display. This is at the Corning Museum of Glass, right? And the other 2 items are at the British Museum. Now, when we think about the broader what a Falera means and what I see as a piece of archaeology and its importance, and you know, there it is, that there is actually that. So that's the second example with Germanicus and his 3 sons, Drusus, Nero, and Caligula. this is when we look at Roman era Britain, the evidence is is very limited for any type of interpretation in Britain, because even though we might get excited with finding 100 bits of roof tile at one excavation site in Caligula, or we might find 10,000 bits of Roman pottery in York in one tiny excavation, right? These only represent a small fragment of Roman military presence in Britain, and we've got to think about Roman military presence in Britain. So if you pull all these things together, the artifact note is that this matters for us. This archaeological evidence, this actual Falera actually really matters to us. So this is such a delicious pre-Claudian piece of archaeological evidence. I even went off on a tangent today, last week, and I started to think, is there any chance that the temple of Claudius at Colchester, is there any chance that that could have actually been started before Claudius actually got to Britain in AD 43? So I don't really go much further with that. So this object itself is part of the tradition of military medallions that were carried by legionaries, right? They were medallions of process with being a Roman legionary. These actually tell you that you had served with Germanicus and that you're still wearing this. And this is found in Colchester. So whoever was carrying this, a military man, wore this when they went into Colchester. It's not something that you would have kept. These glass objects are really unique items, right? This is Faleras themselves are really interesting decorative medallions. Now this is much later. So what they did, the Faleras told a story. Now if you want to talk about the eradication of the story of Roman emperors, you don't keep these things around, right? And the reason I'm just going to go off on a little bit of a tangent. This is associated with Galla Plancidia. There's Galla Plancidia. Now this is a much later Falera, right? And one thing about Galla Plancidia is she was the daughter of the Roman Emperor Theodosius the first. Was a mother, tutor, and advisor to Emperor Valentinian. She was queen consort to the king of the Visigoths, Ataulf. And when you think about it, she actually had imperial power as an empress, which is not something that we talk about in regards to when we look at Roman emperors, right? I just thought I'd put that in there as a little thing, right? And one thing that you will see over the many months that we'll be looking at this, you do actually find coins associated with Roman empresses. And one of the most famous empresses in Roman history is in regards to Helen, that was the mother of Constantine the Great, who died in 337, and coins were issued to her. So we've got to start to think about the archaeological evidence from what the archaeological evidence tells us, right? And like Falera, like the Falera that we're looking at tonight with Germanicus, and like this, like a coin like this, and like this Falera, right? These exist and stay around because the Roman state is telling you something. They want you to know that this person was extremely powerful at one stage, and she's to be remembered. When you talk about the eradication of people from history, these things shouldn't survive, but they do. And this person wasn't removed from history, unlike Germanicus and his family, which is back to this. So again, when we're thinking about this, these are seen as military decorations. These are the types of things that were actually worn by Roman soldiers with pride. So if we move on from this story here, right, these are how they were worn, right? These were badges of honor. Now, maybe I'm over egging this tiny piece of archaeological evidence, but I wouldn't be the first archaeologist to do a presentation on a tiny bit of archaeological evidence. We're looking at the tiny archaeological evidence that we're looking at Ebbsfleet, and we think that is archaeological evidence for Julius Caesar's invasion in 54 BC, and we're talking about one piece of Roman proper military evidence, right? A pilum head, and we're thinking, right, the ditch, and we're thinking, right, this tells us about Julius Caesar. So why can't I say the same thing when we're looking at the Phalera involving Germanicus? A really interesting piece of evidence. And last week, when we were looking at the coin evidence, there was more than one coin that was found associated with portable antiquity scheme had actually been found in Norfolk and Suffolk, right, and Essex, and this type of landscape. What are Caligula coins doing in East Anglia, when in fact the idea of Caligula was supposedly already been erased, the damnatio, by the time of Claudius's invasion in AD 43. Military decorations worn by Roman soldiers, those legionaries, especially centurions and decorated veterans, attached in rows across the chest, using leather straps, something like this. This is obviously these are reproduction things. So the Phalera would have been one of these objects. It's in glass, which is unusual, but then again, it is in glass and it is unusual. Attached in rows across the chest using leather straps. Awards for bravery or distinction in battle. So one single legionary wore the Phalera associated with Germanicus, a Phalera that you would have probably not been allowed to wear in regards to soldiers coming over with Claudius. You would have naturally been wearing it with pride while serving for Caligula. What were you doing with it in Britain in AD 43 if the Roman legionary wearing this was with Claudius's troops in AD 43? It would have been prohibited. It would have had to have been destroyed. And so that tells me that there may have been at least one Roman legionary in Colchester before AD 43. What the hell was he doing there? What the hell is the Phalera, which is a really distinctively well-preserved object, doing in Colchester, when so much of Colchester was destroyed in AD 60? I'm not clutching at straws, but lots of archaeology is clutching at straws. Because when we do talk about archaeology in a British context, when we look at the archaeological evidence from Camalodunum from the Roman period, we're talking about 1% of the archaeology at Camalodunum survives today. Roger's been around and looked at the archaeology at Camalodunum, and we've seen the walls, we've seen gateways, we've seen the temple of Claudius, we've seen an arch, and we've seen lots of things in Camalodunum, right? But that only represents 1% of the archaeology that once stood in Camalodunum from the Roman era. So again, seeing a Phalera like this in Colchester is for me quite important. Sometimes made of bronze, silver, or sometimes gilded, but this example of Phalera is actually, as we go back, and one of you said, this is a beautiful object. Yeah, it is a beautiful object, and this is made in a mold. And I will make the same comment that I've made before. And Margaret, is it sounding good?
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah, well done. When you've got a mold, right, it's for more than one object, right? You create a mold because you're making a number of objects, right? And that makes sense. When you get dies for coins, you use a die for 10,000 coins and you remelt it down. So you can, if you find one design of a coin, you can probably think that they made 10,000 examples of that coin. So these shining discs, these these objects themselves, these phileras, it's also very common to find phileras that may be associated with horse harnesses as well, but clearly decorative signs of status and rank, often richly decorated with mythological characters like this or imperial imagery. But this philera itself, so what about the Colchester philera? What does this tell us? Where do we see this, and how we work with this, right? So one thing I want to do before that, I just want to go on a little bit of a sideline, if I may. And I want to go on a little bit of a sideline, if I may, because and I'm going to put myself out on the line. We're not producing glass objects in Britain probably at all in the Roman period, right? I know there was an episode of Time Team some time ago, and there was one person arguing that we recycle glass in Britain. I've seen recycled Roman glass, right? But whether we actually produced it into first line primary objects, the answer is we don't have any evidence of this. So this was not produced in Britain, end of, right? So I decided to go off on a little bit of a tangent. So what of the Colchester glass philera? The Colchester piece glass with a metal backing, imperial family portrait found at Camalodunum, Britain's first Roman colonia, which is basically set up for Roman legionaries who retired. Right. So, okay, Carl, the easy answer is this is a Roman legionary that retired in Colchester, right, after Colchester had been fully constructed and built with all the roads and everything that it needed, right? But this would not have survived. This was taboo. This was completely taboo. Dementio, if you were found with this, right, if you were found with this in the post AD 41, you could probably no longer be a legionary and be placed into the gladiatorial arena, right? So this can only be attributed to before the death of Caligula in AD 41. This is what we're saying, right? But let's just move on to something else a minute. We'll come back to this. Let's just sort of let's just go to not that here, right? Roman glass. I thought this was absolutely fascinating. I do like Roman glass. Yeah, I had a relationship with a woman once who liked Roman glass, and she had very expensive tastes. And she actually got me to buy bits of glass that had come from archaeological excavations in Israel. And she had earrings and she had a bracelet and all sorts of bloody things. But that's women for you. But anyway, sorry, Margaret. But anyway, Roman and Judith. Not forgetting Judith. So Roman glass manufacture. So this is really key. So when we're thinking about a Roman glass manufacturer, we're talking about as a Roman glass product, right? We're talking about basically around the time of Julius Caesar, all the way through to maybe 420, 450 AD, and that's when Roman glass manufacture stops, right? Because it's likely that we're seeing Roman glass manufacture around 50 BC and not before. Is simply based on the fact that the province of Egypt that produced glass and a big chunk of the Holy Land wasn't under Roman control. And after, obviously, the birth of Christ, it was, right? And obviously, when we look at Egypt is being added to the Roman Empire, coming into the likes of 30 BC and a little bit onwards. So that means that glass is now being produced within the Roman Empire, right? But before it wasn't. So lots of glass is a very prime product. And I can't just say that glass before 50 BC is not being produced elsewhere, right? It was, but not in the quantities that you're actually seeing, for example, in the workshops after the birth of Christ. Now, what I'm gonna say, right, is blue glass is really interesting to me, because In my own book, Romans in South Wales, I mentioned blue glass beads, right, which are not produced in Britain, which are primary bits of archaeological evidence that have actually come from that sort of little bit of a curve from the likes of Israel into Egypt, right? That's where the blue glass comes from. So it's definitely a sign of stuff that's come a long way, right? Oh, and the other day I was wandering across the field and I found a blue glass bead here, and I just thought, oh my god, but it looked too good to be a Roman, right? God, if I was stood on a Roman site, you wouldn't have me teaching anymore. I would just be excavating that for the rest of my life. But that's not the point. So so this being blue glass means that it's traveled a long way to get to Britain, and it's not broken, it's intact. I keep saying this. And if this is post Claudius, right? How is it in Colchester surviving the fire that was only a decade and a bit after, caused by, it would not have survived, right? So there's all these forensic stuff. I could start forensically looking at this more, but anyway, let's go to the glass, right? So let's just think about where we are with this. So revolutionized the industry by combining a high temperature sand-based silica, beach sand, basically, and natron flux, which is actually salt, to create versatile, affordable, and following the innovations of glass blowing, widely available vessels. I don't know if any of you have tried to work with glass. It's not an easy material to work with, right? And it's not just like making a pottery beaker. It's a lot more specialized. So primarily produced in the Mediterranean, Eastern Mediterranean, mentioned that raw glass was transported to local workshops for shaping via free blowing or mold blowing. So you're blowing into molds, basically, or you're pouring into molds, but that's another debatable thing, right? You can't exactly pour into a mold. You've got to blow into a mold if you pour into a mold, but you've got bubbles. But we're not doing a glass thing tonight. But key aspects of Roman glass, this is, so you could say that we've got we've got all the materials. We've got silica, we've got sand, we've got sodium carbonate, basically salt, as a flux to the lower melting point. So the Roman primer, we've got all this soda, lime, silica formula. We've got all this stuff in Britain. We could do this, but we're reliant upon material brought in. And one thing that we get really excited with, and I'll tell you two little bits of story to link with this. This is Roman glass. And I know that this is Roman glass because I used to have a little bit of Roman glass myself. And it's a really nice bit of blue glass. And basically, right, next week, I'm going to tell you now that we're going to be referring to my Romans in South Wales book. So you're going to need that next week because there's examples of this. There's an illustration of this in my book anyway. But but with this, glass itself, amongst any object in the Roman world, is a sign of the Roman world, right? Where it's not in the Roman world. So say for example, we found Roman glass on Shetland, we found Roman glass on Orkney. That's one. We found Roman glass after, the AD 450s, when Roman civilization is starting to go out the window in Britain, and we see it by AD 500 that this type of glass, even though the Roman Empire in the West has collapsed, we see it as important indicators that we're still connected to the Roman world, and it's glass. So forget about Roman Samian, where the factories of Roman Samian are burnt down to the ground by AD 200, right? So we can forget about that. But glass itself is something that is a key indicator of Roman civilization. And that is so important. It's a really important object. So this is why the glass filera to me is important, right? And obviously a glass filera like that, it's a nice bit of glass. Why wasn't it recycled? So, oh yeah, Andy, remember that. so you can get objects like this off the internet, and this is sort of like a really odd, weird glass object. It's got a really nice rich patina, and I'll tell you a little bit about glass. Roman glass, it's usually nice and thick. If you're comparing this with Tudor glass, this isn't Tudor glass, this is Roman glass. Tudor glass can be a little bit more finer, and the window glass for sort of Tudor glass is actually quite thin. And that's when glass itself really starts to come of age in Britain again. So you're talking about the Roman era. You might be talking about Byzantine glass being found between, AD 500 and stuff imported, and and so on. But it's very little. But when you do find it after AD 500 as links with the the Eastern world, as I said, it's really important, right? Andy, can you remember this? And a certain person had one of these, didn't he, Andy?
Who?
Gilbert.
Did
He
he?
found it in his wall.
Wow.
Yes, he did.
Andy, did he have one? He had two of these, didn't he?
I'm not sure he had two, but he certainly found one in his wall. Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. I don't know if you want to tell it. I'll tell the story. Very, very early on, Gilbert was still sort of, it's amazing that we forget how learned in years Gilbert was, right? So I think when me and Andy met Gilbert, he was in his 80s, right? And he was still doing work, and which is great, and he was saying, he was rooting around the back of his wall, and he found, I think, two of these, right? And he took it to an archaeologist, and the archaeologist said, that's actually Roman glass, right? Found in Gilbert's wall, right? So Tommy's obviously got it now, hopefully. And it was just really odd seeing this. And when I saw this, I thought, wow, this reminds me of sort of sort of a nice perfume bottle. So again, these things are really special, and getting them intact is even amazing. We usually get broken glass like this, right? But get them intact like this, obviously I've handled one in my life, and so has Andy, so we're really lucky. So, but thanks to Gilbert. So this is, again, a nice little bit of an important thing. And again, we're doing glass now because I thought, glass is really, really important for us. So primary process, so primary production, large scale manufacturing of raw, unshaped glass called slag or chunks occurred in areas with suitable sand, such as the Belus River, Phoenicia, and Egypt. We talked about Egypt. Secondary production, these chunks were transported and then remelted in local furnaces according to the empire to be crafted into finished products, right? So we've got no evidence of that in Roman era Britain at all, where it's secondary production. It is production of the final product brought to Britain. This is why it's so amazing. That it's how this stuff managed to get to us intact is another story. And the filera, the Colchester filera, how it's come to us intact. So techniques while casting and fusing were usually early on. Free blowing became popular by the birth of Jesus Christ, allowing faster, cheaper production. Mold blowing, we mentioned a little bit about that earlier on. A significant development where glass was blown into pre-formed molds, not just dripped in there, right? Because so if you're dripping glass into a mold, right, air bubbles, it starts to cool straight away. But if you blow it into the mold, it's still molten, so you can blow into a mold. That's how the filera was made, so allowing for complex, consistent, and pattern types. Blowing into a mold basically means that you can use the mold over and over again. So these fileras, thousands and thousands of them, were made probably by a legion that was associated with Germanicus and Caligula. So color and quality, the natural unrefined color was often a pale bluish green due to iron impurities. However, glass makers added manganese. Manganese is obviously offered to pottery production as well, or antimony to make it colorless, or used minerals like copper and cobalt for deep colors. So significance, glass replaced expensive pottery like Samian ware. So it's interesting that glass replaces Samian ware, because Samian ware was getting so expensive that some person set light to the Samian ware potteries, and then it got really expensive. So becoming a common material for everyday items, as well as high-end art due to its low cost and high functionality. But obviously, it may say low cost there. It was quite low cost when you got to Rome. But by the time this stuff gets to us, because there's a lot of breakages, there's a lot of movement of objects. So if you've got a ship, which has got, I don't know, 1,000 glass objects on it, so going from Alexandria, it might go to, say, the likes of Rhodes. So you offset 100 bits of glass. And then you might go to, say, something like Piraeus in Greece, and then you might fly around the coast. And so by the time you get to Rome, there's only like 400 bits of glass left. You go to Marseille, there's like 200 left. So by the time you get to Britain, there's like 20 objects, isn't it? And it gets very expensive in Britain, right? So that's why. So glass is going to be expensive in Britain. This is why it's so important, so interesting. So recycling, Romans frequently reused broken glass in the manufacturing process. And look at this. So how this got to Cologne, by about 370, 380, right? Intact, is another story, right? How it got there. Look at the detail there. That's not glass blowing, that's just skill. That's unbelievable skill. That's an apprentice who's been doing this for 7, 8, 10 years to get to this stage, to be able to produce this one object, right? And I just sat there earlier on today. I thought, right, the only way you're going to get this object to Cologne is via ship, right? And the amount of ships that went down for every object that got here, right? So by the time you get this to Cologne, it must have been really, really expensive. I tell you what, right? This is going to be really expensive today. Very, very expensive today, because it's handmade today as much as it's handmade back then, right? So it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So thinking about this and sort of got these little bits of plans on there, and this shows us something slightly different. And what this shows us is that think of all that sort of green and sort of reddish stuff, right? East of Mesopotamia, that's sort of the Persian world, right? Quite big empires and so on. So obviously the Roman Empire only really went as far as the M in Mesopotamia, sort of, and this is the thing, you see. So when we think of those red areas, particularly in Egypt and where the writing is Phoenicia, that's probably the cutoff point. These are the places making gold and sort of spreading them around the Mediterranean. So in many ways, talking about the idea of cosmopolitan trade and how things moved around. Again, this is really nice that we're seeing this. And there we go. Obviously, the German Reich, the Roman Reich, approximately the AD 120, and we're looking at movements of these pots. It's sort of showing, obviously, that some of it moved over land. I would go with the naval route, to be honest with you, and obviously glass moving, and again, sort of, the arrow there, sort of exactly where we had it on the map earlier on. I said where you've got the word Phoenicia, that's sort of the top bit, and sort of this is moving around, and this is the movement of gold, the movement of glass around the Roman world. Oh, we've got to do this after the break, but we haven't finished the filera. We haven't finished it yet. So we are going to do a little bit of Roman masonry. We are going to come back to this filera after the break, sort of close with this filera and sort of go to the lighthouse and a few other bits and pieces, and then we'll call it a night. So let's just see if there's any questions, and and I might have a piece of sourdough. So there we go. Right. So obviously I've got to add. So that worked then. So I'm going to put my camera back on. And we're going to put everybody's cameras back on. So Andy's camera, asked to start video. Judith's camera, oh, we won't see her anyway. Margaret's camera, Roger's camera, and Will's camera. I've just asked you to put your cameras back on, please. So whatever we did worked.
Yay.
Good.
That was Jenny Gin Elevation. And by the way, right, I have never ever found out which film John Wayne said this is Jenny Gin Elevation, right? I would love for one of you to find out which film that was on, because it's bugged me for years. When did John Wayne say this is Jenny Gin Elevation? I have no idea what it means. Right, Jenny Gin
True
Elevation,
Grit.
Margaret. Really?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Oh, get off!
True.
Right. That's your homework, Margaret. You've set me off now. You've got to watch you've got a whole week. You've got to watch every single John Wayne film. It's probably the one you don't watch.
I liked him in the ones with Maureen O'Hara. They were a good team, weren't they?
The earlier stuff rather than the later stuff. I think it's going to be one of the it's going to be obviously to do. I think it's to do with the films that he was actually horse riding in. So
Okay. Well, when he looked as if he was riding a horse, didn't he? It was just the way he walked.
Yeah. Do you know what? He was a very outspoken actor, to be honest with you. He did fall out with a few people. Right. He fell out with Andy when he had his dreadlocks there. He said, go get a decent job, Andy. And Andy went out and got a decent job. So there you go. Andy, anything you want to say?
No, thank you.
Judith.
No, nothing, but that glass is beautiful, isn't it?
It is. And you haven't got a cold as well, have you?
Oh, it's not a proper cold. It's just a stupid sniffle.
Oh,
well, all right. Then we'll hopefully next week you'll have a proper cold.
Oh, thanks.
We'll give you a proper cold, love. There's nothing like being a sissy. Cheers, love. Don't mention it. We do love you. Talking about loving people, not really interested in Roger, but Margaret.
Yeah, that piece of glass in Cologne was stunning, wasn't it?
absolutely.
We'll definitely come back to that.
Craftsmanship in that was the Roman glass very, very fragile? It looks quite thick and chunky.
But obviously the Cologne isn't. But obviously, if we think about if we think about the survival of lots of Roman glass, it does actually survive. There's actually a lot out there, but when it comes into an archaeological context in Britain, it's mainly broken naturally.
Oh yeah.
Joe, if you I might be describing a lot of information on one single object, right? But we did also make up sort of tin with some cream on it. We spent some time on that, and that was really major. And we've got to remember that we think that there's a lot of Roman archaeology surviving in Britain, but there's actually not. It's just that there's more Roman archaeology surviving than Anglo-Saxon archaeology, and there's more Roman archaeology surviving than, say, Iron Age archaeology. It's just because there's more of it. It doesn't mean to say back then there was, there's not a lot survived really.
That Falera of Germanicus, that's glass, is it?
That's glass, yeah.
Was his image etched in?
No, it was blown in. It's a mold.
Wow, really?
And you can tell it's blown into a mold because there's no air bubbles in it.
I presume they had lime kilns in Eastern Europe to produce the lime, did they?
That's obviously that's going to be slightly part of the fluxing process. Yes. However, it's mainly based on sort of the natron itself, which is like a very fine sand. Not sand. No, very fine salt. Sorry. Very, very, very fine salt, and that's what the natron is. And obviously you've got the and then obviously you've got the sand, which is obviously the other ingredient. So how they
lime kilns in Britain in the 1st century?
There were loads of them. There were
In the
loads of
first
lime.
century, were there?
I don't like the word 1st century. The noughties to AD 100. Yes, there are lots. Basically, in the Iron Age, there's loads of lime kilns. There are lime kilns in the Iron Age. We've got archaeological evidence, lots of archaeological evidence of lime kilns in the Iron Age, and we've actually had classes about prehistoric lime kilns in Britain. Right, they do exist. And there's actually they are obviously survive. There's lots of them in the Roman era. And one of the weirdest things was when I here's a little bit of a story, right? When they were doing the series Britannia, right? I hadn't really been doing acting for long, and it was like 2012. And there was this series Britannia, right? And oh no, I got my dates wrong. Right, let's start again. It's 2015.
It was more recent than that, wasn't it?
Yeah, sorry, I've got my dates wrong. Start again. I hadn't been acting for very long, but I'd obviously been doing it for 4 years, and it was in 2015, right? I went down. I was called out by a member of the public to excavate a set of human remains on the coast at Nash, at Nash, at Nash Point, and basically, and they were filming Britannia, right, on the beach. At Nash Point, and it was great, and I had to go back to do more of the archaeological excavation work. So we were doing. I think we were excavating whilst they were filming, and I was a bit peed off because they had asked me to come along one day to see if I wanted to be involved in the production, and I didn't go, and I've always regretted that one. And but the one thing about that is that they were portraying salt panning, to do with the series. They had all these sort of they had done all this artificial stone across the area, and they were portraying salt panning, and I just thought that was really weird. And then the salt, that links us directly into what we're talking about with the glass, but that wouldn't have been part of glass manufacturing in Britain because we've got no evidence for it. So there we go. Right, Roger.
What was that quote you mentioned with John Wayne?
A Jenny Janelle ovation.
The what?
It goes,
Say
this is Jenny Janelle ovation.
Still can't.
Oh, well, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's try and get into an American accent.
This is
not chit. This is Janelle Janelle ovation.
What is that?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, you stupid clown.
I'm going to Google it. How do you spell it?
I don't know.
Say it slowly instead of hysterically.
Oh, this is no. I wish I hadn't said it. It's been bugging me for 2 decades. Right. It goes.
Say it slowly.
Hang on a minute. Okay, I gotta get into an American accent. Hang on.
Go.
Oh, hang on. I'm trying to. Oh, I wish I was in a land of cotton. This is Jenny Janelle ovation.
General Elevation.
No, Jenny Janelle ovation. Oh, for fiddlesticks.
What?
I don't know how it's spelled. Don't you think I'd have looked it up? Do you think I'm that much of a bloody numpty that I wouldn't have realised that myself?
Yes. So, no idea.
Right. Okay,
Okay,
right.
I'll find it anyway.
Okay. No, you wouldn't find it because I haven't found it anyway.
I could, perhaps, you don't know.
Look, I don't care. Do you want to say anything
Jenny
before
what, sorry?
Well,
Oh, my jet. Right. Okay.
Sorry, I'm typing it
Okay,
in.
right.
I've got
Okay, I'm going to
Jennifer
get into an
Jones.
American accent again, please. I don't. We may as well call it the clown show every week, right? Okay, okay. This is right. Let's get into it. Okay, okay. Oh, I wish I was in a land of cotton. All my dreams I've not forgot. This is Johnny Janela Vision.
Google doesn't know.
I don't know how it's spelt.
Nah. Have a cup of tea,
Oh,
Carl.
I've had a bug. Yeah, I think I need a fucking something. Right, Will. Just Will,
right,
say
some-
some sense.
some
Well,
com-
Will, whatever you do, Will, don't wind me up further about this word Jenny Genevieve, whatever.
Right, some comments. Uh,
Good.
Caligula, when he appointed Roman officers or customs guys to Britain who were still collecting tolls and paying the tribute to Rome since Julius Caesar, would have given glass made, which were cheap compared to silver or gold, emblems to officers. Now, Adminius,
I'm
remember
listening to this.
Adminius, was a British prince who came to Caligula in Gaul, and he'd been ejected by Canolo.
Cannibalinis.
Catavaloni.
Yep.
No, not Cannibalinis. Yeah, the Catavalana. Yeah, that's right.
Right. Okay. So the point is, he would have had the emblems as tokens, like giving a man a medal and saying, right, you represent me when you go back to Britain. So the veterans that Claudius put into Colchester, 25 years, would certainly have been there from the time of Tiberius through to Claudius's Caligula's reign. And some of them may have fought for Germanicus. So they therefore were still had some degree of loyalty to Germanicus in the first place. And they were the people who sucked up to Caligula. So they got some appointments and they were given some recognition by way of these emblems. Now, come on to the glass making. In
Oh, hang on, you were doing so. Hang on, stop a minute. You were doing so well. You're basically agreeing that there's something going on in the period of Caligula, and you couldn't say it. How dare you?
I am gonna right in the text that I've just looked at in the video that I'm doing. There's very little mention of Caligula's real history and the people who interacted with him from the
Bingo.
Roman army, etc. Okay, so we'll
Bingo.
have to come to that at another time. I'll have to do some more research. Okay, but I want to make the comment that when you talk about kilns and limestone in Wales, and I've got a number of videos on my channels and YouTube that deal with steel making and the limestone from the early 1800s that was available in Wales. And the quality of limestone was high quality limestone, which could be added directly into a steel making kiln to make iron and steel, to make iron actually. Steel came later, carb, the additives. But the quality of limestone in the area, for instance, of South Wales in the Rhymney Valley was very
Yes.
high. There was
Yeah, it
also
is.
several places throughout the UK that had very good, high quality limestone. So you had very little impurities that could well have been used and put directly into a glass making kiln in order to give you the flux for the glass. Same equation. And Wales reportedly were making when we go back to the Silures, in fact, so let's go back to the Silures, in the area between Rhymney and Brecon, in the Brecon Hills, they were making metals using the local ironstone, which came out the river, high quality iron deposits, and the limestone, which they could cut out of the hills, which was open and available to them in order to make iron back with the Silures recognized. Okay, that's me.
You know I don't like the word. I had a big conversation about this Saluri stuff. Right, look, you're right. Get this. Like, I can't stand. Right, this is why I don't want to do the written history. Right, but the name Saluri was a name that the Romans gave to the local people. Right, there are 21 valleys in South Wales, right? One valley wouldn't have known the name of the other valley, let alone giving them a name. But anyway, that's something else. But anyway, that's for another day. It might not be for another day at all, because I might not even want to do that. But anyway, right, guys, we're going to take a break. right? A Kit Kat,
Yep.
chill out. It's 8:38, right? I need an enema, right? It's 8:39. We'll be back at 8:50.
Okay.
Good.
Enjoy your enema.
And that is in a Batman film. He says the town needs an enema, and that is true.
Flushing
It's
out.
true.
Flushing out.
I know that's in a Batman film, but this blooming film, this is Janelle Elevation. I tell you what, right? It's been in my head for too long. Right, I need a break. I'll be back.
Okay.
I might snort some weird stuff as well.
Hmm.
Do you know they're going to start asking for passports as you come into Wales, Roger?
Carl, while you're there, I just found the John Wayne dialogue featuring the words windage and elevation, often mistakenly remembered as Jenny elevation or windy and elevation, comes from the 1969 film The Undefeated. Colonel
right.
John
Oh,
Henry
wow!
Thomas talking to Mrs.
Oh,
Langdon, played by the Merriweather.
right, so basically it sounds like Jenny and elevation, but it's not.
It's windage and elevation.
Close.
Undefeated. Right, excellent. Well, we'll have to tell Judith that because she's probably been looking for the last 10 minutes. Mm. Oh, well done.
Yeah, well done.
Well, that wasn't. That's that problem. Hey, if I get any other problems like that, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, send me a postcard. I'll put it in snail's mail for you.
Yeah.
Great.
Say it again, Will.
Windage and elevation from the Undefeated 1969.
What was that first word?
Windage and elevation. He was teaching Lee Merriweather how to shoot a rifle.
Oh, right.
So what does that mean? Oh, the wind elevation.
Windage and elevation. When you point a rifle, the windage will affect how you hit your target, and the elevation to how you hold your gun is relative to how you shoot the gun.
All right.
Windage
Amazing.
and elevation.
Windage.
Pretty
So in
good.
other words, it would have been windage and elevation.
Elevation. Sure thing, boy.
Oh, surely.
Hot diggity. Think you got it
It's
there.
a hard day's night. Right, let's crack on. Right, let's crack on. Oh yeah, we got. Don't forget, we got to put all the cameras off. Right.
And he was
My-
down
my-
to Dixie and said it's so different.
My winch just turned up.
Elevation and elevation.
All right, love. Hello. Right. Okay then. Right, we're gonna crack on. We're gonna crack on to where we were. Let's
Finish
just
off our time, good.
we gotta do the lighthouse by the end, right? So let's crack on. Oh, hang on, I gotta cut everybody's cameras, right? Okay, we'll cut mine for a start, right? So we'll just do that again. So we'll do cut my camera. Hang on a minute. Right, no, all right, okay.
You.
Shut up, Roger. I'm trying to work out what I'm doing. All right, stop video. Right, stop video. Yeah, Roger, shut up. Stop your video, Roger. Judith's already stopped. And if I stop, well, the thing is, do I take the risk and keep my video on? Yeah, maybe I do because you all.
We can hear you. Okay.
So you don't want my video on? Yeah, that's really insulting. You've ruined my life. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So now we know Jenny and elevation is windage and elevation.
Windage and elevation,
Right,
boy.
okay.
There's an audio book now. In Wyoming. So the accent sounds more.
Right, okay. Right, let's get back to
Sure thing.
shut up, Rog. Right, okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Let's get back to my Falera and the evidence. Okay, why we're doing this. Right, okay. Falera, Rog, shut up. Yes, sir. Come back to California. Right, okay. Let's get
Oh,
back
gee,
to what I'm doing. Right.
Golly, Jake.
Oh, right, the Falera. Right. So what about the Colchester class Falera? We've talked about the glass now. Politically imperial item. This is a political imperial display item. So was it associated with a battlefield bravery award? It was definitely a ceremonial or prestigious ornament, possibly mounted as military parade gear. We're going to go to that. Military parade gear. There we go. Military parade gear, right? We could be associated with an officer's harness, but then again, it's more likely to be military parade gear. So this is a really interesting object. And the one point made earlier on, and I'm not saying anything that Will said was wrong, but one point that he did make was this, that the Falera itself is to be seen as a mass-produced loyalty item, right? It's produced for soldiers, right? It's to be produced for officials, right? So again, you all want to see that again. So again, we're thinking about the glass, but we've got to go back to our item. Oh God, let's have it back again, right? Let's go back to this one beautiful object, absolutely beautiful. So yeah, Will's right. Mass-produced loyalty item. He had that right. Very right.
Carl, can I
so it's distributed to promote the image of the imperial family. Now, I think I've not done enough for that tonight. Now, the whole point of anything. Go for it.
It's like the forerunner of medals.
Go on.
Did Caligula establish any
Ask the
legions of his
question.
own? Did Caligula
What's
establish
happened?
any legions of his own?
Go on.
Hang on a minute.
What?
Yes. 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 That's what we're going to do next week. Yes, he did. There was one established. Yes, he did. Yes. So we will do that next week. He did establish one that we know of, one legion, right? That he established. Now is a really good point for next week, but we'll be doing that next week. But back to the point of this, right? Court, anything portraying the emperor is to be seen as and promote the imperial family of that emperor, right? So the damnatio, which is the damnation of the image that we see with someone in regard to
Carl, your voice is coming and going a bit.
the
Carl,
damnatio, which to remove
Carl,
that.
your voice is
But
coming and
this
going.
survives. This object has
Carl, it's breaking
survived.
up.
But the
Breaking up.
maybe 20,000,
That's all. Jigger.
but it's one that we find in our. Oh,
Charlie, your voice is gone.
yeah, we're gonna get rid. We'll get rid of my.
What?
The, guys, we got rid of my image. Oh Christ! It was going so well. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
we can
again.
hear you a bit better
Oh, hang
now.
on.
Now and again.
Hang on. Oh shit. Right, okay, I think I muted myself. Right, oh, stop sharing.
Calling you. Jiggered. What happened? Oh.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. Are we back again?
Well,
Can you hear me?
yeah. I did.
Margaret, can you hear me?
No.
Yes?
Not very well. You keep
No.
going.
Right, okay, let's go back to the images. Right, let's just. Right, okay, good. Margaret, talk to me.
Yeah, I can hear you just now.
Oh, what's different between now and the break? Oh God,
You
what
kept coming
is
and-
different
you kept
between
coming
now?
and going.
Right, you can
I
hear me
don't
just
know.
now, can you? You
Can
can hear me.
you okay just now? Yeah.
Oh,
Ah,
God.
yeah.
Okay. Right, so you can hear me now.
It's not the best, Carl.
Right, good.
You keep coming and
Oh.
going.
If you can
Broken.
hear the thingamajig, right, okay. Right, so with the Ferrer, okay, now.
Well,
But no, you can't. You can't hear me. Odd. And
yeah.
so,
There's a dinghy on the line.
so all the was fine, yeah. But now it's gone to crap. Right, okay, we're gonna have to get my voice back on. Right, what about that now? So
What?
let's just get this back on.
can you hear me?
And let's hear me.
Turn off your
Yeah, right.
speaker on your one device, Carl.
Broken up again, Carl. Go on. It's a bonking, sir.
Right, what now? Right, okay.
It's a bonking.
Can you hear me? Now you can hear me.
Yeah, keep talking.
Hiya,
I can hear
darling.
you.
Would you like to come back to my place? Right, okay.
Not tonight, no.
There's a little bit of an echo. It's not perfect.
Right, okay.
You need to turn off the speaker on your one device.
After flooding the broadband.
Oh, shit. Oh, it's gone to pat. It's gone to crap. Oh my God. God, this is so difficult. I don't know what's happened.
No.
Oh,
Right.
well, bloody jigging.
I don't know what's happened.
It was
I
doing
really don't know what's
okay
happened.
before the break.
And then it suddenly went right off.
Right. Oh my God.
I think Andy's gone,
Shit.
hasn't he?
It's
I
too.
can't see
it?
him.
Right.
I've got years ago.
Am I here?
Yeah.
Oh,
So we're going to share again. Start broadcasting. And Margaret, keep in touch with me.
Okay.
Good. So just make sure. I'm sounding fine, am I?
Yes, you are.
at the moment, yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. I was talking about the importance of the imperial image. The imperial image tells us of who's in charge, naturally.
Not
It's a
showing
bit
much.
like the postage stamp of the day, but it had more power than that. So who was popular, who wasn't. So these products were mass-produced loyalty items, and they
Well,
were
I'm gonna
worn
use
with
image,
pride
Carl.
by people that supported the imperial family. So Germanicus was widely popular in the army, and obviously fondly taken his son, Caligula, with him, otherwise known as Little Boot. So this object itself, with the three sons, obviously Drusus, Nero dead by AD 30 and AD 33,
Right,
and the
you're
one
not
who's going
sharing
to
any images,
continue on
Carl.
the idea of Rome is going to be Caligula.
Carl,
Well,
So
we
yeah,
can't. There are no images.
no, it's just a lot of jiggling.
yes,
No images.
it's not working, is it?
We
No,
can hear you clearly, but we can't see any
Hello?
it's
images.
a shaky image. Yeah.
Oh God,
My God.
can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello.
can hear you.
Oh, really? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Wow.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
I don't
Hello?
think. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
No.
Oh dear. I don't
Oh,
think Carl can't hear us, can he?
I don't know. Who can hear what?
I've got disappeared completely. Oh shit.
Shit.
Okay. Think.
I don't know
What's you?
what's he done.
Reboot, restart the
Hello?
meeting, Carl.
Andy's gone then.
Andy's gone, yeah. Do you think we should go away and start again?
Hello?
Hello?
Uh,
I wonder why he can't
Oh,
hear
right.
us.
there's something in that tea.
The reception's down again.
Who's something else has got no will, is it? Will.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
No, he can't hear us.
No. Where's Will gone?
I think
Good.
he's thinking we should all
Okay.
leave and then join again.
Yeah, but it's suddenly at the other end and it's
I think I'll go and then try to get back on
Well,
again.
just inside a break.
uh,
Hello, folks. Can you hear me?
Yes?
yeah.
Can you hear
Hello?
us?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes?
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes?
Will.
Right. Okay. Right. So obviously I'm gonna have to try and describe this without images because I don't know what's happened with the other thing, but it's gone. But so
What's that?
hopefully you can all hear me now. Everything's fine. So the what? Oh, I don't know what's going on.
you hear me?
Yeah, Carl,
Yes.
shall we all leave and
Hello?
then Carl, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Shall we all leave and then join again?
Yeah. Oh, okay. If we do, one second. I don't know what's happened. Obviously, the break. I don't know what happened in the break, but something.
Told you, don't.
I think we'll leave and then rejoin.
Should be
There we go. Roger, can you hear me?
yes.
Right.
Well, we got just 3 of us now, so it should come over. With
Yeah,
bandwidth
they're
problem.
going to rejoin us. I think.
That seems clear now.
I don't. It does seem clear, does it?
Yeah, it's clear. Unbroken. And there's videos up. So I don't know.
Right. Okay. So, hang on a minute. That must mean that maybe it's not my end. It's one of. Right. Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Let's just try. I think Andy may have left tonight. Okay. Okay. There we go. Right, let's just get back to these images, and if this doesn't work now, we'll
Well, I can't hear you now.
probably
No, it's not
call it a
working, Carl.
day.
It's just not working.
Um, right, okay, let's just try and get. Okay, let's get back to the images. That image in particular, and we'll try and get to the lighthouse. You can't hear me, right?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Great. I'll just come onto the other device now. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. We can do. Okay. Right. What about that?
The children, you know.
There's only one of me now.
June. What's that? A little one and a
No,
big
there's 2 of you.
There's one now.
one. A big screen
Yeah.
and a small screen. Like
I don't know what's happened tonight, but obviously it was
broken up again.
see
Yes.
something's gone wrong. It's broken up again, have it?
It's not the
It's
best.
broken up.
It keeps coming and going.
In and out. Round and
Right.
round.
Okay.
Off and on.
Just carry on.
Right. Okay. Okay. Look, because I can't show you any images because they're on device.
Mm.
So right. Look, I think the best thing to do would be to come back and get on with this next week, because obviously you're not getting the images and stuff, right? So I think what we'll do next week, we'll come back with where we were tonight, and we'll try and get back to where because tomorrow night will be fine. There's never ever a problem on a Wednesday, and I'll be able to complete this tomorrow, and it'll be fine, right? So is that all come across okay?
Yeah, we can hear you quite clearly now.
Right, so okay then I'll continue until we got a problem. So I I can't show you just because they're on the other device. But back to wonderful.
Mine did.
So
it's no good.
oh,
No, you've gone again.
right. Okay. Look. Oh,
See you next week.
right. Okay then, guys. Okay, guys. We're night now, and we'll come back next week. So that's a shame, and we'll come back next week. The problem is now is that I will tomorrow I will have completed everything that I want to do for tonight, and then next week we're going to have to try and put all this into and it's going to have to be done. And I think it might be to do with the fact that we've got extensive military training down in West Wales now. We've got more wind turbines. It's really affecting everything that we're doing. And we'll just see how it goes. It seems to happen on a Tuesday. Wednesday. Right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to ask the usual thing, because everybody can hear you guys. So I'm going to ask, Will, have you got any questions?
No questions, but let me make 2 points. Number one, if the battery strength on your phones go down below 50%, because these are intensive apps, they're actually going to be drawing more power, and you'll see fluctuations based on what's going on in your devices. That's the first thing. The second thing is,
no, that's full.
Depending on your broadband, if your TV runs off the broadband and your good missus is watching a show on the TV, you're going to be taking more of your broadband for that purpose. If you're on a cable,
We
it's
don't have a
different.
TV.
You don't have a TV. Okay.
We don't have a TV. No,
Okay.
that's fine.
So
That's
those
fine.
are the
That's fine.
impacts to your power.
So, okay.
But everything else, great. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Judith, anything you want to say?
No, nothing, thank you, apart from Canada's won, apparently.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
But no, nothing about the history, thank you.
Okay. Margaret, anything from you? Margaret. Okay. Roger, Margaret, go on.
Can you hear
Anything
me?
from you, Margaret? Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, go on.
I've enjoyed what you've managed to do so far, so hopefully it will work next week.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'll be really good. That'll be really good. And Roger, what from you?
No, fine. Upon what Margaret says. Worked well, but
Okay.
unfortunately, there's some technicality which could be the area. These things. There's no way of checking or testing by anything else to see what the signaling is.
Very frustrating for
Something
you.
wrong with the telemetry or something.
Yeah, it is very frustrating. So, it might be the network. I don't know. So, mind you, it can't be the network because I'm using 2 separate networks, and so it's not the So, right. If there's nothing else, anyway, so, do apologise for this tonight. So, but what we're going to do, we'll catch up on the stuff that we've missed tonight, and we'll do this next week. And anyway, thanks for joining me tonight, and thanks for joining me tonight, and if there's nobody else want to say anything else, I'm going to say good night to Will. I'm going to say good night to Judith and Margaret and Roger, and we will see you all next Tuesday. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Night,
Night, folks. See you next week. Bye. Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Night. Night. Right, I'll just finish this up. Anyway, sorry for that, folks, on YouTube. But if anyone is watching on YouTube, next week, only part of the YouTube will be live. I've been specifically instructed that I shouldn't be teaching my classes live fully on YouTube because of my acting career. And if people want to get access to the classes, they can join us on Zoom and get comment down below. So things have got to change, and obviously we've had
bandwidth problems tonight, which is a big shame, which is very unfortunate. So obviously things are not good out there with everything that's happening, and it's obviously affecting my classes on a micro level. So okay, I'm just going to look at this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm Rahid, and we're just going to check on that window 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that window 8, 9, 10, and close that window. Do. Okay, one more there, and nothing, no message from Andy. No, and no.